Okay, we're here again with the Black Fathers documentary with Mr. Muhammadi. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
All right. First of all, I just want to ask you a few questions. My first question for you is, growing up, was your father in your life, and was he an influence on you?
My father was in my life up until I was 11. Then he came back into my life when I was about 17.
Okay. How many kids do you have?
5.
5. So as far as your kids, what is the hardest part on being a parent, being a father, and being a positive role model?
The hardest part, I guess the hardest part was really financially.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of difficult in the early stages of it, but other than that, it wasn't really hard. It was just being there, and I had no problems with that.
Okay. So what gives you the courage, though? What gives you the courage to actually be there, to be a positive figure? What do you think? What is?
Well, knowledge of self, knowledge of history of the United States, including white and black history.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that knowledge, it was always important to me to be there and instruct my children, the right way that I thought was the right way for them to be raised.
So how do you do that? As far as TV?
Well, be involved in their lives, being in the school situation with them.
Okay.
We always had curriculum outside of school at the house for them. We always did family trips for entertainment and recreation as a family. We did that.
Okay, so are you still with your wife, or?
I'm still with my wife after 40 years.
Okay, that's the main thing with the urban and the African American culture. The family structure is not there. How did you sustain that structure? How did you maintain that after 40 years? That's phenomenal.
Well, first of all, my wife is my best friend, and we are on the same page. Though you always have, when you're mixing two people, you always have the seesaw,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Because it's never going to be 100% for both sides. So it works out. We never had really no problems.
Okay. What do you think about child support?
Well, child support, I think if you're a father or a parent, you should be supporting your children.
Mm-hmm.
Always supported mine.
But the system itself.
Well, from the point of view, the European system don't care nothing about black folks.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, so that you have to implement, because they're not going to give the children the same thing that they need, because it's more like an education for dependency and not an education of liberation.
What would you change if you can change, if you had total control of the system? What would your main aspect of the system, what would it be?
Control? Well, first of all, if I would change the curriculum,
mm-hmm.
because that's one of the problems that we have in the school system, is that their system of education is really not educating us to the point that we can be sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
They're not learning about economics. They're not learning about a lot of things in school.
Okay. So to that young man that's not watching, that don't really understand the curriculum and the world and all the struggles, and he's just mentally broken, and he has kids out there, so he don't even think he's a good person inside to raise children with everything else against him, what would you say to him to give him advice?
Well, to give him advice, first of all, if he know how to read, if he can read, then he should start that process. Opening up his mind, exposing himself. That's one of the things he should do. Expose himself to his inner environment and also what goes on in the world, politically here and outside of here, for a person. Now, as far as how he sees himself, that depends, because he might have been raised in a situation where he didn't have role models, so he might see himself as he's not an achiever.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to get inside himself, see where he wants to go in life, and pursue it.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to add to the documentary? You gave a lot of helpful points, and I'm sure a lot of guys out there appreciate it.
Well, I think the documentary is good because I think we need it as a people, especially young people growing up today, young black men, young black sisters out here. They need to be able to get themselves together, get some clarity, and go from there, set some goals in their lives. Set some goals and continue with it. Don't let yourself get beat down by saying you can't do this and you can't do that, because you can. Even if you don't have a lot of money, it's not always money. It's how you see yourself. Because if you see yourself if you see yourself in the true sense, then you're part of this cosmic order of things, which is a good thing. So you can go from there.
Okay, I definitely appreciate it. And it's the Black Fathers documentary. Thank you.
You're welcome.